Welcome, everyone. Today we're really excited to talk about brain fog. Woohoo!
Yes.
From fog to focus, right?
Yes.
And this was inspired by one of our participants in our Feel Good and Eat Well program. And we thought it was a great idea to do this demo.
Mm-hmm.
And so we'll be providing some cooking and nutrition tips to boost brain health.
Yes.
And before we get into the recipes, I know we're here for the recipes, but before we get into that, I just wanted to explain a little bit about what brain fog is, and sometimes it's also called chemo brain. You might hear of that. And it's a term to use to describe a group of symptoms that can affect your mental clarity. So difficulty concentrating, forgetfulness, difficulty remembering people's names or why you went into that room to get, right? Finding it difficult to put your thoughts into words, confusion, feeling easily distracted. And some people actually describe it as a fuzzy feeling or a foggy feeling in their brain, hence the name brain fog. So in some cases, brain fog can lessen after treatment is finished. But for others, they found in research actually that 35% of long-term cancer survivors still experience brain fog. So before we get into the recipes, I do want to also explain that if this is something you're feeling, please bring it up with your healthcare team. There are tips and strategies that can help. There are programs too. So here at Princess Margaret, if you're referred to the Cancer Rehab Survivorship Program, there is a class on brain fog. If you go to Wellspring, I believe they have an 8-week program on brain fog. So there are some supports. But this is a cooking and nutrition demo. And Jeremy has been awesome in creating these amazing recipes that incorporate some of the foods and nutrients that can give our brain the tools it needs to work effectively. So our first recipe, savory red lentil pancakes with mango pepper salsa. Yum, right? Just kind of also rolls off the tongue. These pancakes are not only delicious, but they're packed with nutrients that contribute to brain health. So the lentils provide a rich source of folate and iron, essential for cognitive function, while the oats add fiber and energy, and this helps to sustain our focus throughout the day. Complementing the dish with the mango pepper salsa, bursting with vitamin A and C, just bursting, right? Plays a role in combating oxidative stress in the brain. And oxidative stress, if you're not sure what it is, it's a condition where there's an imbalance of the unstable molecules called free radicals and the body's ability to neutralize them. And so this imbalance can lead to cell and tissue damage, increased inflammation. So we want to try to counteract that, and there are some nutrients in foods that can help. So that's enough about me. Let's get into the kitchen.
Awesome, thank you, Dina. Really excited about this class. And Dina has done an amazing job pulling together some of the latest research and focusing and highlighting some of the ingredients through that research. So with these red lentil pancakes, maybe something a little bit different. You would see something similar in some South Asian cuisine with these like lentil dosas. That's where I took a little bit of inspiration from. And thinking of pancakes in North America, it's automatically we always think breakfast, right? And we gear towards more of like the sweet breakfast versus like the savory breakfast. Whereas the rest of the world, you're probably more common to have more savory breakfast, right? So that's where we're sort of honing in on here. Slightly different take with this sort of savory approach with the pancakes. What I love about it is that we're using the red lentils, right? We're also using some oats to create this really nice batter. So pretty easy to prepare. It does take a little bit of legwork with the lentils. You just need to soak them.
Okay.
So split red lentils, you can find them everywhere. Great, we love our red lentils. We talk about it in terms of the convenience, great pulse to get into, great quick cooking. For this method, we want to soak them for at least 30 minutes. If you pour boiling water over and soak it for 30 minutes and drain. You're ready to go. If you're more organized than I am, you can even do it overnight. So this was just overnight, cold water in the fridge, and now my lentils are soaked and ready to go. Okay, so if you don't have the time, 30 minutes boiling water. If you do have the time, overnight in the fridge.
And what's your trivia question about red lentils?
Yes, we love our trivia question. We haven't done it. Well, so does anyone know, and maybe if you're watching online, you can guess as well, what country grows the most lentils in the world?
In the world.
Do we?
We
Yes,
do!
Donna.
We do, Donna.
Yes,
We do.
yeah.
We
Yes.
do. Yes, you get 20
Yeah.
lentil
And
points.
Yeah.
And canola too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know if
yeah.
You
anyone
see the fields all the time.
Anyone
Yeah.
online
Yes.
knew that one,
yes.
but yeah, Canada.
Yeah.
So when you're buying your lentils, most of your beans too, it's very clearly labeled now. If you
Yes.
notice in the
Yes.
grocery stores,
Yeah.
it is Canadian products as well, which is fantastic. So lentils soaked, they're ready to go. I'm gonna do everything in the blender. So this makes it really, really simple. The first thing we're gonna do is use our whole grains, our oats.
Whole grain
Right?
oats,
And
yeah.
we're using about a cup of these whole grains. Here, any rolled oats will
I
work.
was going to say roll. Right?
Yeah, so quick cook, large flake, perfect. Those will work.
They will too quick.
Yeah, the
Quick
quick
will
cook, yeah, because it's essentially the same thing. It's just chopped a little bit more.
Oh, okay.
That's pretty much it. So either will work. The steel cup won't. But as long as it's rolled out, that'll work, okay? So about a cup there, and we'll just give it a quick blend to almost create a almost like a coarse flour with the oats. Make sure you plug it in. I don't know what kind of blender you're using, but it might require some power. So really quickly, just to break it down a little bit more. Perfect. So 20 seconds, just until you get, I don't know if you can see that.
Nice
I'm going to give the
powder.
controls to
Oh, yes.
Danielle. Danielle loves the
I
remote.
love the remote.
All right.
Which one?
Number
though?
2, please. There you
Okay.
go. Let me see if we can get down here.
Oh,
There you go.
yeah.
So,
It's like a flower.
like a flour. Yeah, but like a coarse flour. It doesn't have to be like perfectly milled. So that's the first thing. Now we're ready for the rest of the ingredients. When you're soaking your lentils, you want to discard soaking liquid.
And that also helps with digestion when you get rid of that liquid from the lentils or dried peas and beans. It gets rid of that carbohydrate that's hard to digest. So it's one way, like if you have gassiness from lentils and dried peas and beans, to kind of bring that down.
Yeah, we're adding about 3/4 of a cup of the red lentils. Now, when I'm usually make pancakes on the weekend, I will double, triple the batch because these freeze really, really well. Yeah.
You
So
keep it in the fridge as well?
you can keep it in the fridge for
Like for
3 to
when
4
I-
days.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 to 4 days is
Oh, okay.
probably. But in the freezer, you can freeze them
Oh.
in layers of parchment, and then what I do is take it out of the freezer and pop it in my toaster.
Yeah.
And so it makes it easy, makes it quick.
Make your own Eggo.
Yeah, and then last, your shelf life is a lot longer that way. So, lentils, oats, then the rest of our ingredients. Any liquid, really. In my recipe, I put milk or milk alternative. That just makes it a little bit richer. I'm actually using coconut milk
Oh,
today,
cool.
just to. Oh no! Well, you can use something else.
It's okay, I know.
And you
I use cashew.
Cashew milk would be good.
Okay.
You can even just use
Or
water,
Or oat.
oat milk, or just water.
Yeah.
Like honestly,
Okay.
anything will work. But we're going about 2 cups of this. Now, it's not an exact science, so we're going to take a look at it. We're looking for almost like a smoothie consistency, or if we've made pancake batter before, that sort of runny but slightly thickened consistency, so we can balance out if we need to. A little bit of ground turmeric.
Oh, cool.
This is where you can really sort of play with the flavors and play with the spices. Again, we're going for more savory, so you can add whatever you like, dried herbs, I think just a little pinch of salt.
Are we gonna add a little black pepper, or is that
Let's
after?
do the black pepper. Where's my milk? A little black pepper.
Power couples. So we like talking about food power couples, and so combining the turmeric with the black pepper we absorb more of the curcumin that's in the turmeric. And curcumin is that active ingredient that has some anti-inflammatory properties. So yeah, so that's the great coupling there.
Love it together. We're going to add a teaspoon of baking powder. This is just going to help with the leavening. There's no flour in this. We don't have any gluten in the pancake recipe, so that baking powder is just going to help to give it some structure. And just to help the baking powder along, about a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar together. We'll get a slightly fluffier pancake.
Cool, that's good to
That
know.
way.
I like fluffy pancakes.
And that is it. So we'll blend this up again. Plug it in. You can't mute me.
When we did it online, I could mute him, but we can't do that.
No. So, okay, so the consistency here, a little on the runnier side. I do want a little bit thicker. This is why you measure out your ingredients, but when you're teaching a live class, sometimes that's hard. So, easy correction. I'm just going to add some more oats to that.
Yeah.
You can actually add some more lentils as well. I have both.
Oh, do you have?
Yeah, I think I have a little more. So, we'll sprinkle the oats in there. Right here.
There we go.
We have a little
There's a little fridge under there. Not a little person just standing up.
Yeah, we don't have that budget.
Christian, his son Christian's not here.
And then the ingredients. All right, so we'll give it another spin. So,
Good.
yeah, this is looking a little bit better. Actually, no, I'm gonna go a little bit thicker
Yeah, a
on
little
this.
thicker.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll forget.
You go and
I'll forget with the.
keep cutting to the other off.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, a little bit thicker. We want it to. I don't want it to be too runny, otherwise it will just run all over your pan, your cooking surface.
So what texture did you say we're looking for? Like
A smoothie.
smoothie?
Yeah, so you're making a smoothie. This would be perfect. We're almost there.
Well, this is great. We get to see, what you do if it's too liquidy, right? You don't have to throw it up and start over again.
Yeah, exactly.
Just play with it.
All right, lid on. Last one.
You want to talk over the blender because soaking up the lentils is going to make the blending much really nice and soft.
We're good to go.
Right.
Thank you.
So there is an abundance of fiber in this, in the pancakes between the lentils and the oats. Just to give you an example, a half cup of lentils gives you about 8 grams of fiber, and half cups of oats gives you about 5 grams. And there is new research. Now it's still animal research, it's research in mice, but they did find that high intake of fiber with a specific chemotherapy, like going through a specific chemotherapy treatment with 5-fluorouracil, actually helped protect the brain from inflammation that could lead to brain fog. So that was pretty cool. And they related to something called the gut-brain axis. So I think you've heard us talk about the gut microbiome or the friendly bacteria in your gut. Well, if we can feed them with fiber, keep them healthy, they in turn can help improve the health of the neurons in our brain. So it is research in mice, but it doesn't hurt for us to up our fiber intake because it also does help to reduce, help us reduce risk of certain types of cancers. Also regulates blood sugars. So yeah, so I'll stop there.
Perfect. Okay, so we have our pancake batter ready to go. Now for a pan, if you have non-stick or a nice little griddle pan, you've made pancakes before, beautiful, good to go. If you don't, I'm going to show you a little trick here, okay? So any pan, this is just a stainless steel pan, but any pan, take a little piece of parchment paper.
Is anyone surprised that Jeremy's using parchment paper?
paper?
He loves parchment paper.
Cut a piece. Now, I don't know if you've tried using it this way, but cut a piece that's about the same size as your pan, so you can see it fits in nicely. And then, if you want a little bit, depending on how you cook your pancakes, you can add a little bit of butter, or I just got a little bit of olive oil here. We're making a savory pancake, so okay, with the olive oil on here. I always do one to start, right? That's your test pancake. And then once you get more confident, then you can start going with more. But essentially, what I want to do is cook the pancake right on top of the parchment. This is going to make this really easy.
It's pretty cool, right? Yeah.
I never thought.
Yeah.
Never. Yeah. I mean, I use parchment paper all the time to cook in the oven, but
Not like this.
Not like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. I've seen him, what is it, sear fish using.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and it does, you still get a nice spear
Oh,
on
really?
the spear. Sear.
really?
On the fish.
Wow.
Right. So about like 2 tablespoons, 3 tablespoons, depending on the size of the pancake you want to make.
So, I want to say, you flip it.
Oh, yeah.
So what I'm looking for, I'm seeing a bubbling on the sides, but what I'm looking for are bubbles to start forming on the top of the
Do you
pancake.
want me to come back to you or leave it there?
You can come back to me. I'll show it when,
Okay.
yeah. So once you start to see the bubbles form on the top, then you know that it's ready to flip. Okay? So we're gonna leave that for maybe like a minute, 2 minutes. We'll move on to the pepper salsa.
Yes.
Now, this is a really nice sort of like, you can do this as a salsa, you can do this as a chutney, you can do this as a little salad, a relish. They're all kind of like similar names for the same thing. But what I'm using are 2 pretty accessible ingredients that will help to sort of minimize the amount of prep work required, right? So mango, have you ever prepped a fresh mango before? That can be a little bit of a pain. We love frozen. Frozen is the way to go, especially with this. Nutritionally,
it's the same, and it really does kind of cut down your prep as well.
Does it matter which, like, some of them you buy frozen, but are there different types? Because you want it flash frozen, right?
Yes,
So
flash
the same
frozen.
amount of nutrients, but are they all the frozen mangoes?
Most right now is flash
Okay.
frozen. So the question was whether all fruits and vegetables that are frozen are flash frozen. Because we know that flash freezing locks in the nutrients.
Yeah.
And I would say most are.
Okay.
I think what we want to watch out for is the health of our freezer, making sure that it's in top form. You're not getting the ice crystals forming.
Oh.
So yeah, right?
yeah. So
What does it mean if the ice crystals are forming?
that's like a freezer burn. You're getting a freezer burn, yeah.
So it might have been defrosted a little bit.
Oh, before you
Is
put
it?
Yeah, it could be
Okay.
defrosting and freezing, or just too much air, exposed oxygen around.
Sometimes opening your freezer again.
Yeah.
Happen, or it's just not like sealed properly sometimes. And, like if you're freezing your own stuff,
Right.
and you want to sort of try to push as much
The
air
air
out,
out.
yeah,
Okay.
too much air will just
Okay.
promote the freezer burn. So limit that. But great long shelf
Yes,
life,
great.
just
Yeah,
nutritional.
definitely. Don't let
very
that stop
accessible.
you from using it.
And for this salsa, just let it defrost. I'll put some mangoes in here. You can just roughly chop it. Mango can be a little slimy and squiggly, so if you're not like super confident with your knife, just hand on top and just give it a rough chop. Like we're not looking for anything super perfect over here for this one. The
Do you
peppers.
drain it? When it's
Yeah.
defrosting, it gets a little bit of water. Do you drain it?
You know what? For the mango, no, because
Okay.
that juice, actually, it's almost like that mango syrup,
Okay.
which is perfect. So that actually, I want to keep that.
So the question was whether to drain the mango.
Right.
And the idea is to keep the liquid there for this salsa.
Right.
Did you roast this red pepper yourself?
I did it. I roasted and jarred it myself. No.
Ah,
So this is a really
it
nice.
smells just like what my mom would make.
Yeah, this is another Canadian product to use. Roasted jarred red peppers, really easy.
Great.
You can buy them already roasted. The skin seeds are removed, and then you can just open them up, and then just same thing, just a rough chop. So just cutting through it like this, and then I'll cut against those slices, just so I have sort of a similar size, a similar shape with my mango. So again, using a frozen product, using a jarred product, these are really good convenient products to cut through that prep work, making it a little more accessible, but you're still getting a great flavor, so getting some great nutrition out of this as well, just in a lot less time.
So writing things down is helpful, right, when you have brain fog. So maybe have a piece of paper near you, or you have your phone. Start your grocery list
Mm-hmm.
and add this to your grocery list. I will.
Okay, bubbles have formed. I'm going to show you how easy it is to flip.
Do you want me to?
Yeah, sure. Well, we can do it like this. So what's nice again about the parchment, I can go in here with my little spatula, I can flip it, but if, again, I'm not super comfortable or I just want to sort of test it out, that parchment comes off really easily, right? And then I can sort of check the other side. Oh, beautiful. And then we'll just throw it back on.
So we don't need to get this little
We don't
teeny
need to
tiny
get
spatula.
That's
so
just,
cute.
yeah,
Isn't that an
exactly.
icing? Isn't that an icing?
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Some of my tools have come from the art store. Yeah, they're great. So there we go. Flip it, and we'll cook the other side for like another 20 seconds or so, and we're good to go there. It's so
No.
simple.
Yeah.
So making it much easier, especially if you don't have a non-stick, then it's a really convenient way to do that, and you don't have to fuss with the mess. Frozen peppers, nope, frozen mangoes, jarred peppers, maybe a little bit of red onion in here. And a little bit of lime or lemon. That's the
Freezer.
ice. That's the ice machine.
Oh, the
Yeah,
ice
yeah,
machine.
yeah. It knows we need ice for later. So, all right, a little bit of lime or a little bit of lemon, just have some acidity. So you have a little bit of that sour with the sweet. If you want something green in there.
Definitely. We love our colors because all the different colors are included the different plant compounds in fruits and vegetables.
Yeah. Now with these, this is mint, but you can do cilantro, you can do mint, you can do parsley, you can do basil, whatever you like. And what I will do, if it's like a flat, soft leaf like mint, you can just stack them
I love this idea.
on top of each other.
You did this yesterday in class. And,
Yes. Yeah. This is a
Never
nice
thought about
little, you feel nice and chefy when you do this. So we call this a chuffonade. So we just sort of layer, maybe a two-shot on this together. What do you
Wrong
think?
two. Wrong two. Okay.
There we go. Right, so just layer them on top of each other, and then we'll tuck and roll.
And you said it's called a chuffonade.
Chuffonade.
A chuffonade.
Yeah, so tuck and roll, and then with our knife, we'll just run it across that little roll of, and that way I can do like multiple leaves at once.
Great.
And this might take like a little bit of practice, but, and then if I want it even finer, then I can just run the knife across that.
Excellent.
So we have our nice funny
Look how pretty that is.
sliced mint on top. So again, it looks like we've spent hours putting this together, but using that frozen, using that jarred, we can make this really nice salsa.
For the long weekend, right? I just remembered it's the long weekend. Nice long weekend.
Yeah, I was
Breakfast.
confused. I didn't realize it was a long weekend.
Early this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll put another one here when we finish.
So while he's doing that, we have another power couple happening. So the lentils are rich in iron, and iron is another nutrient that is helpful for brain health. But the iron in our plant foods isn't absorbed as easily by our body. But if you couple it with something that's rich in vitamin C, red peppers, mangoes, lemon, orange they're all rich in vitamin C. Strawberries, but I know you're allergic. Anyway, the vitamin C helps you absorb more of the iron from the lentils. So it's another great pairing.
Yeah, love it. All right, so a little bit of olive oil, maybe some salt, and we have this really nice sort of mango salsa. I mean, you can throw this on top of vegetables, chicken, fish. I mean, it's just really, really versatile, really nice and fresh.
And you can store this for a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, the fridge, general rule of thumb, 3 to 4 days. I'm like a big fan of freezer. I wish I had a bigger one, just because a lot of these recipes you can definitely freeze.
Okay.
Like even the mango salsa, I would like freeze and leave like the ice cube tray.
Yeah, I was wondering. Okay.
So you have like little, segments, and then if I wanted to roast some chicken in the oven, pop a few cubes of the mango and pepper on there, and roast it all together.
Fancy.
Beautiful, good to go, right? So it's pretty versatile. So we have our mango salsa here. I'll show you again. I've got bubbles forming on that pancake. It's a little hard.
I'll bring it to
Take it out of the, and then we can sort of check on it here. This one I could have maybe a little longer, but it's still good to go.
Let's see the famous flip.
Yeah, just a little weighted, maybe a little bit more. But again, this way, like you're not doing it in the pan where you can burn yourself. I can take it off, fiddle around with it on the cutting board, and then right back, and then do the other side. So it makes it much, much easier.
And you said you could freeze them. You just put a layer of, you separate them with what?
Yes.
Oh, look how cute.
So this is what just so you can see.
Look at the babies.
But yeah, so I would do like single layer of the pancakes,
Yeah.
another sheet of parchment, and then just pop them into, so you can do multiple layers.
Yeah.
Pop them in a freezer bag,
Uh-huh.
and in the freezer. And then I'll just take out 1 or 2 as I need, toaster,
Perfect.
and you're good to go.
Wow.
And this is also a great little snack, right? So breakfast, dinner, but also if your appetite's not so great, it's a nice little snack too.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so we'll finish this one up. This pancake is done. Beautiful. And again, I can take it out. Make sure it's done.
Now, did you add a little bit more oil to the parchment before you did the second one?
I did because I forgot, but
Oh no! I
You
was
can.
just
and again,
but it worked without.
because parchment is non-stick.
Yeah, it worked
So
without.
you don't really need it. The
Yeah.
olive oil is going to help with the cooking. You're going to get a little more flavor that way.
Okay.
You'll get probably a little more caramelization in the browning because it
Okay.
helps to promote that sort of
Yeah.
heat transfer, right? But for the non-stick, you don't really need it. And that's a great way, like, even if I use butter, I can be a little more,
Judicious about
yeah.
how much you're using.
Exactly.
Yeah. Control that fat in your diet.
Yeah. So a little bit more for flavor, but I don't need it for the non-stick. So nice little trick. You can stack this up high. We're doing a nice little mango
pretty.
topping with the roasted peppers, a little bit of that mint, and again, sweet, savory. You can have it as a snack, you can have it as a breakfast, whatever you want, but there we
For
go.
lunch or dinner. Lovely.
There's our red lentil
Mouth-watering.
pancakes, mango and red pepper.